A judge ordered a child to be returned within 48 hours. The parents showed up exactly as instructed. The house was empty. The child was gone. And now, there's reason to believe a 2-year-old may be somewhere in Germany. My name is Sable, and I'm the host of Unsealed Evidence. And before we begin, I want to ask you to take a breath with me for a second. Because this is one of those cases where the details matter. The order matters. And the smallest misunderstanding can turn into something that costs a child his entire childhood. This is the case of Jasper Michael Spears. He is 2 years old. And right now, no one who should have him knows where he is. Jasper was born on November 6, 2023, in Chattanooga, Tennessee. His birth required an emergency cesarean section, but I want to be clear about this right up front. According to his parents, the delivery and recovery were medically stable. Jasper was not born injured. His mother was not incapacitated. This was not a case of a baby being born into immediate danger. But very shortly after Jasper was born, while his mother, Tabitha Spears, was still in the hospital, a CPS worker showed up in her room. This visit came after an anonymous report was made claiming that the parents were not fit. According to Tabitha and her husband, John Spears, the visit came without warning and immediately instilled fear. They state neither of them has a history of violence, substance abuse, or criminal behavior, and that they had stable housing and income at the time. However, Tabitha was struggling with severe postpartum depression and describes feeling terrified that any perceived misstep could result in losing her child. And I want you to really sit with that. You've just had a baby. Your hormones are crashing. You're exhausted. You're scared. And suddenly the government is standing at your bedside implying you could lose your child. Tabitha says she panicked, not because she didn't love her son, but because she loved him so much that she was afraid of making the wrong move. 10 days after giving birth, Tabitha voluntarily entered a mental health facility to receive treatment for postpartum depression. According to both parents, this decision was made to protect Jasper and demonstrate responsibility, not because Jasper had been harmed or neglected. During this period, Tabitha and John agreed to grant temporary guardianship of Jasper to Tabitha's father, Timothy James Young, and his wife, Kendra Leanne Young. Temporary, not permanent custody, not termination of parental rights. Temporary guardianship, meant to allow the Youngs to take Jasper to pediatric appointments and care for him while Tabitha received treatment. What the parents believed would be temporary would later become the central conflict of Jasper's life. According to Tabitha and John, once Tabitha returned home from treatment, the dynamic surrounding Jasper changed quickly. They say the Youngs began controlling access to their son almost immediately. Visits were scheduled, then restricted. John was excluded from some visits entirely. The parents describe feeling monitored and scrutinized rather than supported. During the CPS process, and shortly before the CPS case was formally closed, the Youngs began requiring supervised visitation. Tabitha and John say this supervision was not ordered because Jasper had been harmed, but was instead imposed by the Youngs as a condition to see their own child. If they didn't comply, they didn't see Jasper. And this is where the power imbalance becomes impossible to ignore. Tabitha says her postpartum mental health treatment, something she did to protect her child, was later used as evidence that she was unstable. John says he was framed as disinterested, despite showing up and fighting for access. According to the parents, no matter what they did, the requirements kept changing. But they stayed in the system. They followed the rules. They did what they were told. Because they believed that eventually, the court would see the truth. And in December of 2024, it finally did. On December 13th, Tabitha and John say the court granted unsupervised visitation. On December 18th, a written order followed stating that unsupervised visitation could begin that weekend, and that Jasper would spend Christmas with his parents. For the first time in over a year, they thought their son was finally coming home. Tabitha texted the Youngs to let them know they would arrive to pick Jasper up, exactly as the order required. The response she got was that the Youngs were out of town. So Tabitha and John did what the court order said to do. They showed up anyway. And what they found stopped them cold. The house was empty, cleared out, listed for sale. No Jasper, no caregivers, no explanation. They documented this visit with video cameras. This is the moment when a custody dispute turned into something far more serious. An emergency court hearing was held on December 27, 2024, via Zoom. According to Tabitha and John, Timothy and Kendra Young appeared remotely and claimed they were on vacation in Wheeling, West Virginia. The parents state that the address provided during the hearing was false. During that hearing, the judge ordered the Youngs to return Jasper within 48 hours. Not a suggestion, not a request, a direct order. Tabitha and John waited. The 48 hours passed. Jasper was not returned. After the deadline expired, the parents returned to the residence again and documented that it was still empty. This wasn't harassment. This wasn't desperation spilling over. This was evidence. And after that, communication stopped. On January 6, 2025, Tabitha and John say the court terminated the temporary guardianship and restored full custody rights to them with no restrictions. The next day, January 7, 2025, Jasper was officially reported missing. According to his parents, law enforcement advised that this could involve custodial interference and that the search might need to extend beyond the United States. And then came the most frightening possibility of all. Tabitha and John state they have reason to believe that Timothy and Kendra Young fled to Germany with Jasper, and that Savannah Lee Young is with them. They say extradition orders exist requiring the Youngs to return to Georgia. The family describes what happened as a kidnapping. And here is where I need you, listening to this, to understand something very clearly. This is not about sides. This is not about online arguments. This is not about who you believe. This is about a 2-year-old child whose location is unknown. Right now, Jasper Michael Spears is still missing. His parents say they do not know where he is living. They do not know who is caring for him day to day. They do not have an address. They do not have proof of safety. And when a child is this young, every day matters. Tabitha and John have taken extraordinary steps to try to find their son. They have created a GoFundMe to cover legal and investigative costs, including hiring an attorney in Germany to pursue recovery efforts across international borders. This is not about money. This is about access. This is about finding a child who cannot speak for himself. So I want to be very direct now. If you are listening to this and you have any information that could help identify the current location or physical address of Timothy James Young, Kendra Leanne Young, or Savannah Leanne Young in Germany, you need to come forward. If you know where they are, if you've spoken to them, if you've been told where they're staying, if you've seen anything that connects them to a specific city, residence, or address. This case depends on someone knowing something. And if you don't want to go to law enforcement right now, you can contact us directly at unsealedevidence@gmail.com. Tips can be shared privately. This video, this podcast, this case file, they all exist for one reason: to locate Jasper. Because no matter how complicated the adults made this, the truth is simple. A child was supposed to come home. He didn't. And until we know where Jasper is, this case is not over. If you share one thing today, let it be his name, Jasper Michael Spears. Let's unseal what really happened. Every case has missing pieces, and we're here to find them. Unsealed evidence digs into the documents, the timelines, the evidence they don't talk about. You can read every breakdown at unsealedevidence.com and follow us for updates, new findings, and deeper dives. We don't look away. We don't sugarcoat. We search until the truth shows itself. This is Unsealed Evidence.